Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Payito, or it could be, I guess, Payito. I'm not sure. By Diana E. Marshall. All right, this is a neat tangle. It makes me think of a ruckus, which is a Zentangle original tangle, but this one is formed quite a bit differently. All right, so we start off with orbs, or you know what? I think you could. Oh, well, she doesn't do it as. Oh, it's a different tangle that I'm thinking of. Sometimes you look at so many of them, you're like, wait, was it that one? No, it wasn't that one. We're gonna put a bunch of orbs around, and I was gonna say you could do any shape. Well, you probably could. I thought that maybe she had some samples on there, but no. And you can take a look at her step out. I'm trying to make this not look like at first I was like, oh, this is going to look like a die. All right, maybe that's enough. You can take a look at Diana's step out in the For More Inspiration link. All right, so once you have your orbs set, up to you whether you want to fill them in at first or wait till the end. I think I'm going to wait to the end. But here's the next step. And I did take a little bit of liberty and divided out some of the steps just because. Now, one thing I thought I noticed, so we're just going to draw straight lines in between. This is another free form. This is apparently day 2 in a row of let's get out of our comfort zone, Heather. And I say that because it's like just doing things random, I always have a challenge with. And I'm working on. It's more of a mental thing. So this one, you can put the orbs wherever you want, and then the lines wherever you want. One thing I thought I noticed is that there were that out of any orb you had just 2 lines. In her step out, it was that way, and in I had to look real close in her sample, and I do see maybe one or so that has like 3 lines coming out. So I was thinking, oh well, that's a rule, and there's no written anything about this where I found it, so I'm not really sure. So I am going to leave that up to you. So you could put lines however you want. They could go. Oh, let's see. That makes a third. Let's see. I'm going to stick with 2 because it's kind of fun. I think at this point. So you could have some go off the page if you want. Up to you. Well, since I did that one, and I'm going to stick with just the 2. So let's have this one go here. All right. So once you have this set, then it is just aura till the cows come home. Now, and I thought about this afterwards, and I'm just going to share it here. It doesn't really need to be in the step out, but here is a thought. For auraing, and this is kind of a me thing. So, if you don't know what aura is, it's just an outline, essentially. We're kind of tracing around, leaving a little gap, working to keep that gap the same distance as we can. So here, usually I draw the aura, and you just go along. But this one, it's highly effective if you have these nice points. So where the line comes into the orb. I thought this might be you can do it like this. I'm just taking each step and picking up my pen after each one, repositioning my tile after each one. That was interesting, but that's okay. In the end, it is not going to matter if you have bits that are not exactly, the same distance. That one was pretty good. We don't worry about it. It's always just a something to strive for. And I'll get finished with this one because as I just started doing it as I was talking. Okay, so that's one way. Just piece by piece. Taking a little break, adjusting your tile. Another thing you could do is, like, say, do the round bits first if you want to, or you could just, work a little bit ahead. This is just an entirely up to you idea. And I like to share different ideas because you might say, oh, I like that idea. I'll do that. And maybe you end up liking a tangle a little bit more, and and I think that would be so cool. But I do like to share different ideas because sometimes, because I know we all work differently, and at a very minimum, I like to at least work to eliminate frustrations. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're just going to keep on keeping on and continue the aura until there is no more room. And I will share with you what you do when, as the auras collide. That sounds like a good soap opera. A Tangle soap opera. When auras collide, what will happen with... that's as far as my brain's going to go. But this is a very nice way to if you want to use this for meditation or mindfulness. I'm going to just do the inside first, and then I'll work on the outside, because then I might come into one of those little collision points sooner than the outside. Wow. But because of the repetition on this, and it's good to just work these kind of things nice and slow and just focus on your pen, and also with it, focusing on the line that you are auraing and not worrying about anything other than, this line here. Okay, let me do as best of job as I can do. Oh, okay, that's nice. And then move on to the next one and keep going. Now, one tip. Let's see, I'm right here. I'm just going to, I'm falling off the page. One tip for auraing in general is to have your pen be underneath what you're auraing. So, for instance, I'm auraing this. Now, this one makes it a little bit difficult. Oh, well, maybe not. So, because it's gotten rather large. So that way you can see the line you're auraing. And even something like this, if you can't get it all in one stroke, just, stop carefully and, see what you can do. See, like here, as I'm drawing this line, the pen is covering the line that I'm auraing. And while it works, it's just not always ideal. Okay, so there we're touching. So from here, see, then I get to moving too fast, and then I'm not happy with my line. That is why this is the perfect, or I should say one of the, it's a great exercise for relaxing and doing the meditation and just losing yourself in it. Okay, so, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to do, I can just fit a straight line, and then there's that. We'll do a little triangle. Well, that's a little bit much, but okay. So, if you can fit like this, it's just barely, they're just barely touching, and that is okay. Or you can just decide, like right here, of course I would not fit in another one. Let me show right here what I'll do to finish this off. And it's just continuing to aura any of the gaps. Let's see, I'm not sure what to do with that. Well, we could just draw a straight line. That works. So just until you can't really fit anything more in. And all of a sudden I'm realizing, well, maybe that's why she put, she has a filling in the orbs early. Either way, still either way. because it could get confusing. That's where I was thinking, but not. But you know, at the same time, maybe not really. So then here I'm just auraing. It's the same concept. I'm just filling up this space until I run out, like that. And then here, I didn't point that out. Um, I call it bouncing when I teach the Tangle Crescent Moon, and because for whatever reason that's what I picture when I do that one. It's like, oh, I can't fit in here, so doink, we come out, and then we, and then you just continue on. But so we're just auraing in between, and if you can't fit it in, then just start auraing the next one. You can think of it like if you don't have, I'm sure you have seen those Roombas, the vacuums, I don't know. They're not remote control because then that would be effort. But electronic vacuum, the little round thing that just travels around your room magically, and so instead of like it would like then bounce off of a corner, so it's not colliding with anything or getting stuck. We can think of it that way. Saying this outside is going to be relatively easy. Because we're just filling it out to the edge. And I would say once you get to a place kind of like I did in the center, was like, oh, okay, well, this now becomes a new section, and you could just work on that section till it's complete and then go on. Or like I did, I did the center, and now I'm working on the outside. And I share that because well, my brain still does this where it says, oh, well, I must do this in succession. So, oh, I'll do a once run here and once run on the outside and it's like, no, you don't always, this is me talking to me. Nope, Heather, you don't always have to do it that way. It's okay if you finish one side. It's not going to affect anything. Only do that if it's going to affect something else. Oh, and let me share here because I just did this. So sometimes my lines like this was more of a oops. It got a little bit flat, not an arch. So there's no reason why you can't just pick up the arch again. Oh, that one I overshot. And then reinstitute that curve and just work to keep it up. So always watching that kind of thing, and that's where the concentration with this one is helpful, and the slowing down, so that way you can watch things like that, and just to ensure that okay, I'm getting that point where the point should be, and the curve where the curve should be, and the straight line where the straight line should be. Because in the end, it will make a difference in the outcome. All right. So I got just a little bit more here to do. Let me hit pause and finish this, and then we'll come back. We'll color in the orbs and talk about shading. Okay, so you hit pause if you're tangling along with me, and then when you're done, we'll be done at the same time after you hit pause. Okay, so I'm hitting pause now. Okay, so there it is, finished. Now, this one, because I just realized it now. Make sure to take an eyeball break here or there, and maybe a hand break, and stretch your hand out, because we're doing the same thing over and over again, and it's so repetitive. It's a good idea to do that now and again. All right, so we're going to fill in these orbs, and I'm going to make sure to add a little shine. I was just deciding which direction. Sometimes, like when I have something like this, then I decide, oh, I'm still going to do it this way. And I am going to, let's see if we can do it both ways, because these are kind of big. All right, so I've put a little orb in on the one side, and then on the opposite side of that, I just shaved a little bit off, kind of making it look like a literal crescent moon, not like the Tangle Crescent Moon. And I do this to add that shine part in. I don't know if I can quite get that with the little sliver or not. Yeah, we'll leave it. It can always be filled in. And what I like to do with adding in, although this one, I'm thinking, I don't know. let's just try. I think it's kind of fun to add it in with the pen. And this just has to be a little, well, that's a little too little, but it might work. A little sliver. And I pick one direction, and then I add the shine on one direction. Well, let's do this like that. This is what I intend, and that's why I was trying to leave a little sliver like that, so it's like what I call a swoosh mark, which is just like a little C shape with the white jelly roll. So this is nice if you don't have white jelly roll, but and even if you're working on this, like this is a white tile, which actually it says it's white, but it's kind of off white really. But then I can still add the jelly roll afterwards and have a neat effect. But then the jelly roll is also not competing with the black ink. Now this one, even though I have this one right here, this is also a little bit of an opportunity to course correct if need be. So like this orb was a little flat on the one side. And if you have the white jelly roll, and you don't have to add these, you could just fill them in solid and not worry about it. This is just some extra fun. It's kind of like a tangle enhancement. And so even here, it's like, well, I can kind of fix that the spacing because I can move this out a little bit. And I try to make this the orb, and then if I'm good enough to add a little sliver thing in on the other side, I make them bigger than I think, because you can always go in and take away some of the space, but there it's just reserved for those two things. Oh, we got one left. Let's that one was going to not turn out very good, but that's all right. Like I said, I can add the jelly roll after it, and it's all fine. It's just a little bit, and sometimes that's all it needs is really a little teeny sliver. I'm going to shave some off of this one. See, so it's just a little bit, maybe this one too. Let's get all of that all filled in, all nice. Okay, so, whoops. Gee whiz. Oh, sorry about that. You could see it was traveling off. Why I do that, I don't know, because I was not moving it towards me, that's for sure. So here is some idea for shading. Every place you have a point, and actually yesterday's tangle, we did the similar thing, and yesterday's was in Spiral by CZT Thomas Padros. And this is what it looks like. Oh, is that a little blurry? Or is it just my eyes? It could just be my eyes, but let me... Ah, no, it wasn't. Okay. It was just until I hit that in there. So anyway, similar idea on how we did the shading if you're following along every day. And if you're not, here's what we're going to do. Where these little points are, we're just going to put a little bit of graphite on all of those points. And even just adding the graphite without shading it, you can see already how neat that looks. The fun thing about this tangle is that it's going to be different every time. Whether because you're always going to have these your orbs, more than likely they're going to be in a different location. Let's see. Need to get creative here for a moment. I'm going to come back to this side. Let's see. Okay, so here's some. And you could also decide, well, if there's too many in a section or something, to leave them out. That is, of course, up to you. Oops. And then I'm also working to stay away from the initial aura. Is where I'm working to stay away from. Oh, and then Oh, because here, this one is just little. Oh, see, this one's just little, but I'm gonna make that like a kind of like a V because, well, because that just looks how it wants to go. All right, now let's take the tortilla and see what I missed. Okay, so I'm just bringing it out just a little bit onto either side. Although you could have fun with, let's see. Let's say we just bring this one out to this side. Let's do the same over here. So that's kind of neat. Versus, it'll do the opposite here. Oh no, this one it'll be both sides. It just looks different. I mean, it's still dark here, but you have the you know, no shading going up here, where this you have a little bit of shading. It's just something that you can play with. Whether it goes on both sides or one side, up to you. And then two, in these little places, if you end up doing some in little places, just straight up and down, it does spread the graphite to both sides. Or if if you're just working, if you're working to have it just be on one side, I would just move the tip of it down a little bit, or just kind of go like this back and forth. But it does spread that out, so you have the gradient. That's what I want, is to have a gradient, not just oh, and there's one I missed. And I can use what's left on my tortillon for that. But this, and because this is a well-loved tortillon, it does spread it nicely to both sides because it's kind of fat at the tip. And I think this might be the last. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, I think that's it. So look at how neat that looks. And you know what? I don't think I have to do too much of anything. I mean, after getting that shading done, and then also not looking at it anymore, getting my eyeballs off of these orbs, when I'm looking in the camera, I was like, wow, well, look at how shiny those look. And they do. And actually, it doesn't matter which way you do it. It's just a personal choice. To me, it's kind of one side or the other. But how neat, right? All right. Fun tangle. It's one of those, definitely looks a bit harder than it is. Although it does take some focus and concentration, it's not necessarily that difficult. So if you enjoyed the video, would love to have a thumbs up or a like. Feel free to share it. And if you liked it enough to see more, I'd love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. And of course, that is free. In the description section, I already mentioned the For More Inspiration, which will have Diana's step out. I'll have my own version of it there as well. And underneath those are ways to connect with me, link to my website, our wonderful Facebook community, if you happen to be on Facebook. And yeah, so feel free to connect. If you've never taken an online class, just to let you know, I do them weekly. I have free classes that I do weekly, and well, I should say at least once a week. Really, except for 1 or 2 weeks, I do classes twice a week, and most of them are free. I have 2 that are a paid class, and I appreciate those that take the paid classes, whether it's just once in a while or those that are are showing their Tangle Addictness by being a subscriber to the Tangle Addicts Membership Club, which is essentially like a subscription, and it's all access, to all of the classes that I take, and then you also get the warm fuzzy knowing that all of that helps me to be able to continue my efforts here. So I appreciate that greatly. All right, I think that's it. And I hope you enjoyed this again. And I wish you lots of happy tangling. Thanks for watching.